This is Professor Homa. I'm back with part 2 of this. The instructions that we have, we went up to number 3 and we selected everything and we made it 12-point Cambria, which is a serif font because it has the little feet on it. If I zoom into this, you can see what I mean. These are the little feet on the letters. That makes it a serif font. We talked about that in class. I'm going to zoom back out using the zoom tool down here. Alright, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to format the first line software. And I'll zoom this a little bit more. I'll format this first line. I'm going to make it 18 point, and I'm going to make it bold, and I'm going to make it red, which is this little icon here. If I click on that, I can choose a font color, and that's all I'm going to do with the top line. And that's number 4 on the instructions. I'm not putting any space in it yet. I'm going to put space on the next line. Alright, for number 5 on our sheet, we're going to set a tab. Now, one thing to note, I'm going to go up here into my ribbon in the Home tab, and I can see that this is highlighted. It's in yellow. That means it's on. I could turn these things on or off. And when it's on, I can see my returns, I could see my tabs, and I could see my spaces. These are called formatting marks. And this button up here is called the Show Hide button. And there I can see it comes out as Show Hide. So we'll call it the Show Hide button. But it shows formatting marks. Sometimes they're called invisibles, but they're all the characters that you actually type, but they don't actually print. They're non-printing characters, like returns. You don't see a return when you print, or a tab. They just help align and format the text. So we have that on just to see that I do have tabs in here, and notice there's just one tab. Even in that, because there's one tab, they don't line up, because default tabs go every ½ inch on the ruler. You won't even see them on there, but they go every ½ inch on the ruler. So depending on how long the line is, that's where the tab's going to end up. But we're going to set a tab so they all line up in the same place. So we're going to basically put a tab stop in where this tab will see it and line up there. So what I'm going to do, number 5, is I'm going to highlight word processing through text only. And that's all the way down to here. I'm going to highlight all those paragraphs. And I'm going to go into my paragraph dialog box launcher. And I'm going to go down to the bottom and I'm going to click tabs. And I'm going to do this right in my little tabs area. You could do this on the ruler, but for now we're going to do it through here. And I'm going to just type in 5, and that's my tab stop. Ignore this part over here. Those are just your default tabs. You could ignore that. And make it a right tab. And just hit set, and that puts the tab down there. And then if you needed to set other tabs, you could do them here and then hit set. But I'm just setting one, and then hit OK. And you can see what it did. It set a tab, and it aligned a right aligned tab at the 5-inch mark, and that little backwards L is indicating that there's a tab on the ruler. And we can put those on the ruler, but sometimes in the beginning it's easier just to set it through the dialog box launcher and through tabs. So we set a right tab for number 5. Next thing we're going to do is format this line right here. It already has a tab in it, but we're going to do a little extra work with it. We're going to make it bold, and then we're going to do a space before, and that's instead of just putting returns between paragraphs, we're going to put a space before setting. And we're also going to do this through the paragraph dialog box launcher, and where we do this is this area called spacing in here. It's called space before and after, and it means space before or after a paragraph. And by paragraph we're talking about these paragraph returns. So we're going to do space before, and I'm going to set it to be 12. And I'll hit OK, and you can see what that does. It puts about 12 point of space in between. It's ignoring where descenders would be on that line up there. So it's about 12 point of space that's going before that paragraph. And we're going to use that for all our headings to kind of separate them out a little bit. So one other thing I'm going to do is this line down here, general formats. It's going to be very similar, except it's kind of like a subcategory. So I'm going to make that one bold. And then I'm going to use my paragraph dialog box launcher, and that's just going to have a space before of 6. And that's it. So that one doesn't have as much space between it because it's kind of like a subcategory. It's not our main category. So it's going to, as we do other main categories, we'll have the 12-point space before. So I'm going to stop there, and we'll do our indents and a couple more formats on part 3, and that should be the last one.